Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Theater of Football. I am Mike Hodum, and I'm joined by Jeremy Forbes. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. I don't know if you're like me, but not really digging this international break.
Oh no, me neither. It seemed like it happened at the most inopportune time. Things were just getting exciting. Things were just heating up in the Premier League. Tides were shifting, and in all reality, the games during the international break, in my opinion, have been a little bit of a joke.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And just had I think England played Belgium, and Gareth Southgate named just a horrendous starting 11, in my opinion. And people will say, "Well, he has injuries." Well, it was still just an ugly starting 11, and they got what
Yeah,
they deserved.
I think
Um,
he's lost sight. I think he's lost sight. He's gotten so overwhelmed, with the up and coming kind of youth, the old guard, new guard. I don't really know if he's the best coach to take them forward. But
no,
that's here
he
nor there when we talk about United.
yeah, he's yeah, I would echo those sentiments. But yeah, we sat here last week, Jeremy, talking about um how we seem to be stuck in this cycle that keeps repeating, just
Mhm,
general inconsistencies. We spoke about things Ole can do to maybe adjust that.
mhm.
But as we come back to games next weekend, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about this. What do you see as maybe some solutions within the club to try to get us out of kind of the inconsistency that we've been playing with?
So overall, I would say one of the major issues I think, and whether you're ollie in or ollie out, I think it's actually been more the board, and the board is causing a degree of those inconsistencies. And I think one of the major issues right now is their unwillingness to be um, have a direct plan of action instead of being so wishy-washy in regards to what they want to do with the direction of the club from a managerial standpoint going forward. I think that within itself could be a deterrence in us finding that consistency form, whether it be going forward or even maybe probably a little bit in the past as well. We never really talked about that much, but their willingness to flirt with a new manager, but then claim that they are wholeheartedly supporting the current manager. And as much as we say that footballers should be professional and just go do their job, I think this all has a part to play in the degree and lack of focus that the club is able to have, and with the direction that they're able to go in. Because for as much as you want to, defend and play well for your coach, if you're eyeing, oh man, our club might be bringing in a new manager. What is his desire and tactics going to be? Am I going to be in his first thoughts and plans? Like it can create internal discord or just lack of focus. And I think that's been very harmful by the board for them to not just make a decision and stick with it. If you want to be in with Pochettino, then just do that. Stop playing around. Oh well, if he turns it around in a couple of games, he'll keep his job. If he doesn't turn it around in a couple of games, he'll lose his job. Um, it's just ridiculous. But I think it's a defense mechanism for the board and for the owners so that they don't have to take ownership that they are actually not managing and running this club very well.
That's an interesting point because I think we've all seen probably over the past few weeks, maybe to a month, the recycling of old stories that were sounding off Pochettino and his
Mhm,
people, um, and these come from not too reputable tabloids. So
mhm,
what's interesting to me, because I kind of relate it to Mourinho when he got sacked. When Mourinho got sacked,
mhm,
I don't recall there being noise around bringing in a new manager.
mhm,
Um, I could be. I know. Like they, even though he was at Spurs at the time, Pochettino was mentioned, but he was with Spurs, so there's not going to be downright stories of us sounding him out because that would be very unethical. Not
mhm.
to say Ed Woodward or the Glaciers wouldn't do that, but
Yeah.
when that happened, we sacked Mourinho, and it kind of all happened quickly. We brought in Ole on the interim basis, of course, to start, but there wasn't really any rumblings on that. So you're and Ed Woodward this week came out and said that they absolutely support Ole, whether you believe that or not.
Yeah.
So do you believe these tabloid stories that Ed Woodward, maybe not Ed Woodward or the board or whatever, are trying to sound out Pochettino? Then
I believe there is some degree of truth to it, and I believe uh, his frustration shows that he believes that there's some truth to it, or that there has been some degree of approach, whether it's the type of degree concrete approach that he would like, or just checking to see what his interest would be. I think his actions have clearly shown that that in some way, shape, or form, he has either been, informed, or has been made to believe that there is interest in him being the manager at at Manchester United, and he's frustrated that why won't you just then make a decision on me? I'm holding out. I'm not trying to take any jobs, but you're not really wanting to commit. If you want me, then let's do this. If you don't want me, then stop making me feel like you want me and making me hold off on not coaching until, say, the end of the season, if that makes sense.
yeah,
And I think that's fair of him.
well, yeah, I think this whole thing is we keep sending feelers his way. I do think there's some truth to the rumor because I brought up Mourinho getting sacked, but a couple years prior, but when Van Gaal got sacked, there were weeks of rumors of us sounding out Mourinho and his people and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
Van Gaal was pretty much hung out to dry for many weeks, really, until he was finally sacked the day after our FA Cup final victory. So I would buy that. While I do think the tabloids and some news agencies try to kind of knock us down.
Of course. I don't say nay.
Yeah, I think there is a little history of us doing something like that. And I think you're right. I think it's kind of a point like Ed Woodward, the board, they don't necessarily have the guts right now to pull the trigger on Ole if they don't think he's right. Like they're waiting for him to, for us to go through like less than an inconsistent phase, like it's just a dreadful phase for a few weeks before they pull the trigger, which was kind of like what happened with Mourinho.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think they're trying to keep Pochettino kind of on the fence out there because he's going to be the guy who comes in, and whether you back Ole or you don't, or you like Pochettino or you don't.
It's not fair to either of them.
No, it's not fair to the club and the players. I think the players pick up on that, obviously, and aren't going to respond well when they hear that stuff.
Yeah, but leading on from that, and you're talking about what other problems do I think? I think one of the one bright stars that we've seen through this international break, we have kind of seen it even before that, was the consistency of Van de Beek. He's been consistently playing well for the Netherlands, scoring goals, helping their team get through a rough patch where maybe they're not holistically, playing as well and defeating teams like they should, but keeping them there. And when you think about that, and you think about, okay, well then why as we as a club are not being able to find a better way to make use of such an intelligent and currently in good form footballer? I know Bruno has also been informed, but if you have two good informed footballers, how are we not, from a management perspective, from a planning perspective, not finding a better way of trying to use both of them to a degree with which all the fans and the club would be able to pick up on that?
So let me ask you this to build upon that. Do you think Ole wanted Donny?
You know what? Now I'm a little bit on the fence about whether he wanted him or not. I thought initially, it was an amazing signing, and why would he not want him? But he hasn't actually made me feel like he's wanted him.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part. Like, are you so bitter because the club didn't do exactly what you wanted and go out and get the player that you wanted? Or are you smart enough to say, let me think outside the box and deal with what was presented to me? Are you still actually a little bit, frustrated, and because of that, you don't try to use what has been given to you?
Yeah, you see Pogba coming on in these games. He's been benched lately. He'll be on the bench next to Donny, and you'll see Pogba get on the pitch before him. I think at this point, even if you don't start Donny, if you have the two of them on the bench, Donny should be the one getting out there before Pogba, right?
Yep, yep. So I commend him in being willing to stick to his guns in regards to that, to leaving him on the bench and making him come off from the bench, which I know a lot of supporters are surprised because how high profile he is. So I commend Ollie for that. But like you said, it's not adding up because clearly he is in way better form domestically and internationally than Pogba is right now. So he should definitely be coming onto your pitch before Pogba, no matter what.
His energy and work rate, as far as I can tell, are vastly superior to Pogba.
Yep, true.
So I
And,
don't get it.
and he does create a degree of better intricate passing than Pogba has been doing lately, because Pogba gets the ball and wants to hold on to it for way too long, or try to you know show some kind of a dribbling prowess. Who cares, dude? You end up getting, like, what, you're wanting the people to foul you and us to get free kicks? Like, no, keep playing the ball. We need to move the ball, create ball movement. And that's what Donny is doing. He's creating ball movement. He tries to get in good spaces and then pass the ball off quick.
Yeah,
Do little flicks and all of that.
I think Pogba would have been. I mean, he is in many people's eyes world class, but I think he would have been much better suited playing in a like a generation ago, where the ball
Yeah,
wasn't
probably.
necessarily moved as quickly. It was more physical, and he, like you said, he'll get the ball and he'll want to take all these touches, and he'll end up just maybe trying to maybe he's trying to draw a foul, but at the same time he ends up conceding a foul. So
Yeah. Or getting the ball taken away from him, and then when he's trying to get it back, creating a foul.
yep.
And I think a lot of times the refs are not worried about him anymore and taking into account, like, yes, you're going to get a heavy kind of physical presence from these other Premier League players that maybe aren't, as in your mind, as talented as you are, and the refs are going to be quite happy to let that go.
Yeah, I think you're seeing that when he's played in the Premier League this season, just a microcosm. He doesn't play as well because he's not given. I don't want to say preferential treatment or better treatment by the refs, but the refs tend to let stuff flow more.
Yeah.
And I don't think English referees as a whole are very good, but in Europe he tends to have more. Maybe he has more clout, better reputation, so he gets some of the whistles that he otherwise wouldn't get playing in a league match. So that could be part of it too. But he needs to figure out and adapt. And about Donny, and we saw us play well against Everton last weekend.
Mhm.
And Mata started down the right wing basically, and he stayed over there mostly for the match, which usually we see him drift about. And I think maybe he was told to kind of stay a little bit more at home, even though this isn't his preferred position. Wouldn't we? I mean, Mata, this is no indictment on how Mata played in that game, or even how Mata's played when he's played this season, because I think he's been one of our better players. But he's 10 years older than Donny, and Donny has very similar qualities. I think he moves a little better than Mata. So wouldn't it make more sense
and he
to
has
play?
more energy and he's faster.
Yeah. So wouldn't it make more sense in this type of a game? Because you're playing Mata basically out of position too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it just make sense to play Donny and give him a run?
I believe so. I believe wholeheartedly with what you're saying. And then, in my opinion, you then use Mata in those types of instances where maybe, in a lesser kind of a demanding game, a cup game or something, you kind of will bring Mata on, as a substitute. If you're feeling like there's just been a little bit of off with a player. But you don't go back to now using him as one of your starting players. Like, I'm sorry, he's just not a starter anymore. He shouldn't be a starter. He should. That's the better thing. He should not be a starter for Manchester United. He can be an amazing player, amazing kind of boost for us if we really need it. But he should not be a starter, not for our club at this point in time.
I think that's fair. I love Juan. I think he's done some good stuff for the club. Seems like a good guy. With Greenwood's out for that match, ill reportedly. I would have liked to prefer to see Donny get that match. from the start. But yeah, he went with Juan, and I think we were talking last week about him possibly just naming the 11 players he trusts the most. Maybe he
Hmm.
just doesn't. Donnie hasn't been there long enough to
gain
fit in.
his trust because
Yeah,
it wasn't one of the players he chose. It was just given to him.
maybe.
I don't know, but I think at this point in time, like if he's going to continue to do that, he might accidentally disenfranchise a player that's actually playing extremely well right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he needs to start playing him more consistently, starting him more consistently. And yeah, this is just kind of getting to the point where, the first few games in, even though we were playing bad, you can buy the excuse, oh, he needs to get acclimated to the league or whatever. But we're in the middle of November. The player's been with the club for when he gets signed, beginning of September. So he's been here for
Uh-huh.
2.5 months. When he has played, he hasn't put in any garbage performances,
No, he
and,
hasn't at all.
and he's put in a couple of really, really good performances.
Hmm.
So it's not like when Fred came in and for 12 months, 18 months was terrible when he
Yeah.
played. Um, yeah, I mean, at some point he's got to start figuring out how to get him on the pitch along with Bruno.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just not enough to say, oh, at least I know I have one amazing talented player to come off the bench, but
Mm.
then change him out for one of your other amazing players. Like that's not the way anymore.
No, no. I don't like. I never really liked like for like subs. I get it if you're up 4-0 in the 70th
Yeah, your
minute or
like for like
something,
works. Yeah.
but you know, especially nowadays, like you looked at this was it the Spurs West Ham match where West Ham was down 3-0 and they scored 3 goals in the last 10 minutes. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to keep approaching the match as where we can improve, and
Yeah.
just
Definitely.
subbing off, say McTominay for Pogba and Bruno for Donny isn't
Yeah,
gonna.
that's not. Yeah, that's not going to cut it.
No. So
I mean, with all of that being said, though, strangely enough, like I think at this moment, coming off this international break, when we get back into the league, it's at a point in time where we if we do put a good run of 3 to 5 games in, like it could give us the boost that we need to truly challenge for, I would say, not only top four, but the top spot or second place. Like, you don't want to play for second place, but we could improve from where we were from last season.
yeah, yeah, and you mentioned that last week, and you're right. I mean, the run of fixtures coming up on paper
Hmm.
are we should do the jobs in those, and you win 3-4, and we'll be looking a lot better. I mean, you look at the table now. If you get beyond the actual position that we're in and just look at the points, you can
Yeah,
see clearly that after another couple games, if we get 3 points in those games, we should be really getting back to close to where we
yeah,
should be at.
and it could boost all the players and the whole team's confidence that we can fight for this league.
Yeah, I am optimistic. I share your optimism about our upcoming games and that we can get ourselves back in there. But even despite like maybe City's difficulties defensively, they haven't. I don't think Pep sorted that out yet. And Liverpool losing Van Dijk most likely for the year. I still don't have. I don't have enough faith in what I've seen from this team to say that we can contend
Okay, okay.
necessarily. But
Well, I mean, the next thing is that for as much as I think us and Chelsea are kind of in the same boat, we both have teams that right now, on any given day, can look amazing going forward from attacking prowess, but our back lines, our defense just uh can give us headaches when we would least desire them. So
yeah,
that's why I'm not 100% sold on Chelsea, and that's why I think for United we need to continue to be careful and mindful of that, because we're in the same type of position. Our defenses could give us headaches at any point in time, but they've also shown that they can play a good game. So how do you work to resolve that issue?
I think you could throw Tottenham in that mix too. I think on their day they look fantastic going forward, but then their
Yeah.
defense, like that match I was just mentioning against West Ham,
Hmm.
they yeah 3-0 up. They looked great in the first 20 minutes. Then the last 10 minutes they just imploded. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's why I have more. City's defense hasn't been great since companies left, but you still have to have a little bit more faith
Mhm.
in them based upon recent title-winning success.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, do you think the club needs to really look at say players coming for January, or just sorting out the issues we have currently?
you think the board's going to sign people in January?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think. I mean,
Probably not.
I think we need to keep recruiting. We obviously didn't do a good enough job in the summer,
Yeah.
but I don't think it'll happen.
Mm.
There's too much uncertainty over Ole, even if Ed comes out and says that, oh, we back him.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
don't really
That's
take him at
that's
his
just
word.
word of mouth and emotional backing. It's probably not going to be financial backing.
No, yeah, that's just trying to give good words his way. While when he gets done with the interview, he's gonna go
Uh-huh.
home and pick up the cell and see how Poch is doing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't see us signing anybody. We'd have to have like a huge. I would say we'd have to have like a huge injury crisis.
Oh, okay. Before that would happen.
Probably like in defense where we might go in and sign a center back. And at this point, I know people keep saying that injuries have picked up. I think it's just normal, really. I mean, people say that they're running games, players are getting injured. I
Yeah.
don't. The normal schedule is packed like this, really,
Okay.
with games. So I think
Mhm.
just typical injuries are going to happen. Ole was upset because Luke Shaw got injured. He's going to be out for a month with a
Oh wow.
hamstring injury. But
Yeah.
it's always just a matter of time before Luke Shaw gets a hamstring injury.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of
So
course.
I don't blame the scheduling on that.
Yeah. So hopefully Tellus will be over COVID here in due course. Even
I
though
hope
I know his team, the Brazil team, got more kind of during this international break thing, has had word of more of their players getting it.
Mhm. Yeah, and he got called up
Yeah.
again to the Brazil side despite.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I don't know what that means. Rashford was called up to England even though he's carrying a knock and he hasn't been able to play for them. Um,
Mhm.
Maybe Southgate could have used that spot in the squad for somebody who's actually in shape, maybe like an Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know, but don't get me back on the Gareth Southgate subject.
Oh no, 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 no. He's becoming the new the new belt, like how the Belgian manager was.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't rate Southgate, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see here when we come back from the international break who all's fit. Will Rashford have recovered by then, and will Tellus come back in one piece? I don't know.
Hmm.
'Cause we will need him now that Luke Shaw is
Yeah,
injured,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
um, and he can provide something that Luke Shaw can't. Even if Luke Shaw did get assists in back-to-back games leading up
Mhm.
to the international break, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see these next couple games for sure.
Well, I just can't wait for the Premier League to be back up and running. So
Yeah,
look forward to that and seeing how the top of the table continues to shuffle
yeah,
around, because that's what I feel it will end up happening. There'll be
it's a
further shuffling.
it's a deck of cards that just keeps on getting shuffled. And on that note, the curtain is now closing on the theater of football. For Jeremy, I'm Mike. Let us know your thoughts on Van de Beek and the board and whoever else, Ed Woodward, Ole. Let us know on Twitter at Theater of Football. And have a great week. Enjoy the international games.
Enjoy. Bye.
Oh, hello. Thank you for watching the Theater of Football. If you think Mike got it wrong yet again, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.